Gerald William Bullett was a British writer best known for his 1924 humorous fantasy, Mr. Godley Beside Himself. Born in 1893 in London, the son of businessman Robert Bullett and Ellen Pegg. During World War I, Bullett served in the army in France and Egypt, before being educated at Jesus College, Cambridge, and serving as broadcaster for the BBC during World War II. His first book, The Progress of K, a series of glimpses, was published in 1916. He was a great admirer of Walt Whitman, and detested blood sports, prudery, and tea parties. He died in Chichester in 1958. Today we will review his 1925 collection, The Baker's Cart and Other Tales. The title story has a father make a toy baker's cart for his daughter, with her spiteful mother emotionally blackmailing her to give it to a child in the hospital instead, out of sheer spite for her husband. Simpson's funeral is the story of such a joyous event, revealing a rather humiliating personal secret of her late husband to his widow at the same time. The Bending Sickle has an old woman go to the bank, meeting in the manager a man whom she had been in love with many years before, and not even realizing it. Attitudes has a man thinking his beloved got herself affianced to another man, and having a fickleness supported by an anecdote from a friend, but then she sends him a note of explanation and he goes back to her none the wiser. Mrs. Pussy's Chickens has a woman going to meet her old mother, along with her son, for the first time since she eloped, but finding peace with the strict old woman by inviting an old servant both had known, still tending to her chickens in her humble home, to keep them company. The renewal of youth is the story of an old novelist who one day wakes up and thinks he is not yet 19 when he is 61, and the story of his amateurism and immaturity following him into old age. Summer's End has a young girl visiting the home of a cousin, witnessing how his happiness is ruined when his father tells him the girl he fancies is also his sister. Last Days of Binnacle has Percy Binnacle make his way to his office, refusing that anything should make him late, not even being ripped in half by automatic gates at the train station and being reduced to a pair of disembodied legs, giving an utter fright to anyone still on the train. A right grisly one, this. Free Sundays has a man recount his own experience with housekeepers after his mother's death when he was but a child, and their eventual evolution, the stepmother, a woman whom he hates from the first, the story giving him a very grim confirmation that he was indeed very tragically correct. The Sunflowers is a domestic story of a woman obviously in love with her cousin and deciding to destroy his beloved sunflowers when he decides to marry someone else. Queer's Rival narrates the soured history of Samuel Queer's marriage to a woman more and more mired in spiritism, awaiting the return of a lover who is in fact another him, in a bizarre, undeniably final finale. The Dark House has a man travel to a remote house to serve as a secretary to a Spanish Countess, falling in love with her and wishing to court her, but the one time she does heed his summons, he finds her face a painted rag, and her body a machine fashioned and controlled by the butler. Prentice is the story of Prentice and of his dear friend George Leake, and how he died horribly in the trenches, all due to the love of a fickle woman. The stories are usually somewhat depressive, but only a few of them are truly fantastic, with a few too many low-key domestic stories before one gets to those really good ones.